Hey guys, it's Marco again. Today with a cold video. As you already may know, I went to Venture Covenant and I started to play Frost Mages in Mythic Plus. I also tested them on solo targets as well. You can go on my Twitch channel to see some of the dungeon runs if you're interested. Off stream I did a few more dungeons and I must say that Frost Mages are a super strong tool in Mythic Plus dungeons, especially on fortified weeks. I haven't been out DPS'd in any of my dungeons, and I even had boomkins, fire mages, who also had better gear than me. And I'm also lacking a potency conduit due to my low renown. Huge strength of frost mages is their great constant DPS on packs, all thanks to Glacial Fragments legendary. On big pulls I would get about 15k DPS, while Fire Mage and Boomkin would end up at 20k plus. But the big difference was that I will repeat the same DPS on the next pull, and Fire Mage is going to have around 7k DPS and Boomkin about 9k DPS. Another strength is their constant slow, which helps your tanks with kiting the mobs if needed. But they also have some weaknesses. They lack burst damage, which is needed for higher keys. And by higher I mean 20 plus keys, which isn't something to worry about if you're a regular player. Another weakness is that they aren't super good on tyrannical weeks, since on those you will run Freezing Winds legendary, for a bit of a cleave damage and a bit of solo target damage. But a lot of classes will outdo you on the bosses, which are really painful on tyrannical weeks. Another issue with Frost Mages is that you have to have 3 legendaries. Slick Ice for Raid, Glacial Fragments for AoE and Mythic Plus, and Freezing Winds for Cleave and some Mythic Plus situations. And I have 2 more minor issues. First one will affect you if you're pugging and you have a bad pug tank. Some pug tanks don't know that big chunk of your damage comes from enemies standing in your blizzard, and they will constantly move mobs away from it, which may result in hair loss for you. But most of the tanks I encountered won't make random radical moves, and everything is going to be great and predictable. So you can chill and spam those ice lances. My last issue is bug issues. In some certain places, your Glacial Fragments legendary won't work in Blizzard due to World of Warcraft spaghetti code. My worst dungeon due to that reason is the Necrotic Wake. When you get to the hardest part of the dungeon, the Necropolis, with super good packs for Frost Mages, you will find out that Necropolis is a flying object, and even when your enemies are in your blizzard, the game thinks that they are not, which results in Glacial Fragments not proccing. But we can't really do anything with that, we can only wait for some kind of a fix. And even though I listed few more weaknesses than strengths, those are all situational weaknesses, and they don't hold the same weight as our strengths. On the last note, I must say that I was called out only once for playing Frost Mage, and that was in plus 15 Mist Ski. Boomkin at the start of the dungeon said that I really live up to my name and race, since my name is Trollonica and I'm a troll. And that was just due to a reason that I'm not playing a fire mage. But in the end I out DPS both him and another mage who was fire, and that actually made my day. If you want to try out frost mages, just do it. They're decently strong, have good utility, are super relaxing to play compared to fire mages, but most importantly, they don't have a big learning curve, which is great. And always remember, a good Frost Mage is worth more than a mediocre Fire Mage, so think about it. Lastly, I had to touch the raiding scene a bit, even though I haven't raided as a Frost Mage yet. But I spent a lot of my time practicing on a solo target dummy with Slick Ice. And I must say that they're really fun to play on solo targets with good gear and Slick Ice legendary. The gameplay is super fast and you will almost constantly have your icy veins up, thanks to Icy Propulsion Conduit and Critical Strike chance. So I was definitely surprised by the fast gameplay from start to finish. And looking at the logs, they fare super nicely on certain bosses in Castle Natria, while on others they aren't so good due to movement and required burst damage. But the situation will probably change in the following raid. That's it for the video, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'm gonna give a shout out to my first Patreon. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I'll certainly write it on the screen. Links to my Twitch and Patreon are in the description, and I will make a new Frost Mage guide soon. And also I will stream Frost gameplay tonight, so until then, take care.